Hello and welcome everybody to Footy Talk, a listener podcast. I'm James Graham and today I'm only joined, I say only, by one of the game's legends, Greg Inglis.
James Graham, how are you?
I'm very well, mate, but more importantly, how are you?
I am fantastic. Got a big day ahead, got a big night ahead, so looking forward to it. Got me annual gala night on tonight. So,
nice.
Yeah, coming in here and still stick to my duties, to my jobs during the day. And then I'll just creep over there to Sofitel later after a nice fresh haircut. Put my new suit on,
fresh fade,
and get over there. And yeah, look, it's going to be an enjoyable night. There's going to be a lot of people in the room that's been on my journey for so long, and a couple other people and sponsors, businesses that come on board. So it's going to be a really fantastic night. Well, I'm hoping, and everybody walks away happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's for the Goanna Academy.
Goanna Academy, yeah.
Nice.
Gala's only second year I'll be doing it. So, last year, this year, and then it's something that I want to look forward to every year to build on, to put it out there more often.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many people will be in attendance?
Well, there's a table of 10, and I think there's 24 tables done.
Wow.
So, yeah, also need a table for me workers and volunteers. So,
yeah.
Had to keep one of them aside.
That's awesome, mate. And it is just you here today. You got a busy day, so Connor Watson's got better things to do, he said. So anyway, he's on the road to recovery.
On the road, still on that road.
Still on that road. Game 1 of 8 from this round. It's already brought up so many talking points, and had so many ramifications for game 2. Api Koroisau gone, broken jaw. Tino, he was the cause of it. Talk yesterday whether or not Tino would get suspended. He's been cleared today. What are your immediate thoughts on not the game itself, but the fallout, the Blues losing Api Koroisau?
Yeah, look, he's a massive loss. There's no doubt about it. There's no question about it. Does that mean, does Damien Cook come on and play 80, or did they be smart enough and bring another hooker on as well to back up? Because it's a different arena, it's a different coliseum when you go to Suncorp and play up there, and especially when the game's in the series on the line. So the New South Wales roll that dice. We're bringing another hooker on, number 2 hooker.
Well, I think it isn't necessarily about if they bring another hooker on. I think it's, okay, if Cook's there, and there's been such an emphasis on combinations,
yep.
Cleary's gone, do they go, let's get the band back together?
Who you
bring
thinking,
Adam
Jimmy?
Reynolds, get Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Damien Cook, Cameron Murray. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Are
you just talking about because you want them to win?
Matangi as well. Get him in. Look, Tola, Campbell Graham.
Yeah. The thing is that you got to look at, with Latrell, that's no footy for a month.
He's in. He's playing.
I'm not saying he's not in. I'm not saying he's not in. I'm not saying he's in.
Greg.
I'm not saying he's not in.
Greg.
I would pick him.
Look, I respect you, but you're talking out your arse.
Look, I'm telling you.
We're bringing a new section when Greg talks out his arse because you are playing the Queensland game here and you're trying to put doubt in people's minds. Latrell's playing, so don't even mention him. He's in.
I'm saying that I would pick him. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
by going up there to do the best job he can.
But you were talking about he's been out for he's been out for a month.
Hey, to do his best job as he can. Of course, is another question. You just don't know.
Well,
do you like these mind games that we play?
Yeah. But I can call them out. That's well,
who else is there? Campbell?
Even this, right? With I'm not saying this, but for talk of combinations and get the band back together, does Latrell go to fullback?
That's a big call, that one.
You think about that we talk about combination.
Yeah, that's still a big call.
Yeah, I'm not saying it, but these are the ideas that
Latrell Mitchell,
Teddy and Freddie and and the selectors will need to hash out.
Look, me personally, Latrell's in that arena will be centre and let Teddy do his job at fullback, because that's his special. That's what he does, and he's been doing it for such a long time. One game should never define you. You know better than anyone. Yeah. One game shouldn't define another. Well, his performance that he's done for so many years. But if I was selectors and you're looking at those two, I'll be putting Latrell in centres, because that's where he's most destructive. That's where you get your defence right. You want your aggression in D. You want a ball runner that runs hard, like a back rower. So you take Latrell out there and put him at fullback. All he'll be coming in is bringing the ball back as fast as he can and taking those meters. And but I'll still leave Teddy there. I still think it's a load of rubbish what they was talking about.
Well, me
after
too.
Game 1.
Me too. And here's why. So it's not like you look at that and go, "Oh, the game's gone past him." He got a couple of moments wrong. He was actually really heavily involved. You look at his actual statistical performance, and it's really high. But he got moments wrong that are within his capabilities to get right. So you look at the pass to Adekar. He's just got to make that decision to pass the ball. The slip over for the Hammers second try, look, that happens. And even if he remains on his feet, the Hammer then assesses the situation and passes it on the inside to, I think it was Munster in support. Probably the other situation he would have liked again is Selwyn Cobbo's try.
Yeah.
But he's got the capabilities to make that tackle. So anybody that's calling for him to get out of this arena, it's not like the game's gone past him. He was still heavily involved, heavily influential. He's just got 2 moments that he has the capabilities to ice and get right. And then he's arguably player of the match, man of the match.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's, again, total rubbish. It's ludicrous. They just pinpointed the one man. Yes, he is. It's just unfortunate that he's a cap. Well, it is fortunate and unfortunate at the same time that the sole blame goes on him. He's a captain of the state. His name's James Tedesco. He's one of our biggest names in rugby league, so of course he's going to get the blame.
Yeah. So he's staying.
He stay.
Latrell's in. Cook will come in. Do you think there's a possibility they will go Walker to partner Hines to get that combination working with Latrell?
Well, they played All-Stars together, didn't they? Start of the year and last year as well. So never thought about it that way, Jimmy. That's not just a good looker. You do a bit of thinking as well, pal. I honestly, that could work. That could possibly work.
Cody has been ruled out. How much of this weekend's game
was that?
A quad strain that happened at training.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if he's out for game 2, even though he...
But I mean, no. But with that quad strain, if he was still available for selection, or would that injury be too much for him to carry in? It's just a quad strain that's being reported at this moment in time.
Well, it depends how bad.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
Probably it's probably significantly harmed any chance that Cody Walker had, I think. But for me, Hines is definitely the 7. I don't think that's a debate. As much as we want to romanticize Reynolds coming in or Mitchell Moses, look, no.
Nico's there.
Nico's there. Who takes over that 14 role now? That becomes even more important now that Hines is going to be the number 7. Cook will be the number 9. That 14 role now is genuinely up for grabs.
Throw some names up there. Who would you put there? Like that's available, fit, and can play in the backs, middle edge forward.
Matt Burton.
Bateman?
Bateman's English.
Who'd you say?
Matt Burton.
Burton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you honestly think...
I thought you said Bateman.
You honestly thought I said Bateman.
My apologies. He's
Right,
been there before.
Hang on. I genuinely think a guy like Matt Burton would be the man to fill that role. He can play a number of positions. I think the only position he probably wouldn't cover is fullback, but you've got plenty of options there. So if Tedesco was to go down, you would just put bring Burton on into the centres and put Latrell back there, or maybe Tommy if he is selected.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. With Matty Burton, he's been there, he's played Origin, he's played up there at Suncorp. So, it'd be silly not to put him on the bench as 14.
Yeah, he
can cover centre.
Yeah,
can cover 5'8", can cover half, and if need be, can go into lock and do a stint in there for however long, 10 minutes. Bigger body, smart, can play footy, can kick. Not sure if he can kick, but he can.
Oh, Matt, he can boot, and then also there was talk before game one that Luai would cover the 9 position potentially when they only had Nico Hines on there. So the other option as a bit of a smoky would be Reece Robson if they wanted to go with that 2 hooker model. But it's, or do they go the big smoky and go? I know Jack Whiten has recently retired.
Nah, he's.
Well, let's look at that South connection.
He'll stick.
Bring the. What about that for a smoky? Bring the future and the past of South Sydney all together. Reynolds, Whiten, all the South Sydney team. Get them in. No, gone.
Won't happen.
Can't do it.
Won't happen. It can be done, but no, Jackie. Once he make his decision, that's it. There's no, and he would have been sitting on that thinking about it too.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. In terms of Queensland, your Queensland, Gilbert and Arrow, unfortunately, won't be a part of Game 2 or Game 3, actually, for that matter. Who comes in and why?
Well, you got a number of players to choose from. You got Nanai, Catewell. Catewell comes back into the fold. Kafusi.
I think Kafusi's suspended.
Is he still
Game
suspended?
2, yeah. Christian Welsh.
Well, no wonder he's staying away from Wayne up there.
Christian Welsh was 18th, I think. So they need a starting edge and a versatile middle forward.
Yeah, so starting edge, you probably look at Nanai the way he's come back and played, especially putting those numbers on the board against Storm.
That's a straight swap.
Should be a straight swap.
Yeah.
Or, do you go back to the old Catewell and veteran and bring him back into camp? I'd see with Nanai on there, younger blood coming through. And, you put Christian Welsh, put him on the bench to cover that, middle forward. So, I think Jai Arrow was doing a bit of both.
Yeah.
You looked at game 1, players playing out of position all over the shop.
Ruben Cotter assumed that role on an edge, so I think bringing Christian Welsh onto the bench as a genuine middle forward, and then maybe Ruben Cotter has that little bit of edge, little bit of middle side of him, and he proved he can play 80 minutes at that level, which is phenomenal. So even if he goes on as a middle and then has to move to an edge,
I love how Ruben just comes on and goes about his business, gets his job done, does what he does. He's like a guy that sits there and really genuinely loves his job and loves what he does for a living.
I said this on the Sunday Simbin that for me his performance was phenomenal, and a message to so many kids out there that you don't need to be the biggest.
No.
You just got to have the biggest ticker, biggest heart, and that's what that's what he plays with. There was a moment there in that game where Pangai Junior's offloaded the ball. The ball's gone to ground. He didn't have any right to get that ball, but he wanted it more than anybody else. From the 26 players on that field, there was one person that wanted it more than anybody. Yeah, he was in close proximity, but there was a couple of players around, and he got it. And it was just the ability or the will to do what the other guy wouldn't.
That was like the turning point in that game, wasn't it? It was going back and forward, seesaw battle, and then that happens. And Ruben Cotter gets on it, they score, and everybody's talking about Tavita, saying, why do you offload it? Why do you do this? And now everybody's looking at, from that little effort area that Ruben Cotter did, attention went back on Tavita Pangai Jr. about the rest of his game. So,
huge.
One little effort that's massive in the game can have a massive real ripple effect on the rest.
Yeah, I agree. So I reckon from that, Christian Welsh definitely comes in, and then more than likely, Nanai.
Nanai.
Yeah.
That'll be my two.
Yeah.
Nanai straight in and Welsh on the bench.
I'm with you with that, with honourable mentions to Capewell and Corey Horsburgh. Yeah, I'd love to see him in that arena because he's going to go off and.
You just imagine. Can you imagine him in Munster at training?
A little bit disappointed. The only downside to Corey Horsburgh is he's shaved his ginger hair off, and it's that.
I think it looks better.
Well,
you should shave yours.
No, God, no. the age-old debate of, the ginger would have, well, at least I'm not bald. And people go, I'd rather be bald than ginger. But Corey Horsburgh's answered that question, the bloody idiot.
He's got the, what is it, nickname Big Red? I remember a few years ago. Do you remember Keith Galloway?
Yes, I do. Yeah, of course.
What do they call him? Big Sauce. Big Sauce, and you got Big Red.
He was quality player, Keith Galloway. I see him at the gym actually from time to time. Some of the fallout again from that game last night. Luke Brooks sets to do a stint on the sideline with the hamstring injury. Look, the Tigers were coming back into contention this competition, but I think the loss of Koroisau, they were learning how to play with Koroisau as soon as he left the field, or he left early in the first half as well. The Tigers didn't look the same, and then to lose Luke Brooks, who has seen a turn in form and fortune, that's the line through the Tigers. They're gonna really struggle to get results without those two. I think
we spoke about it start of the year. Those first couple of weeks, they came through week to week, and we were sitting there wondering where they're going to learn to play with Api. They have, and now he's on the sideline for what? 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah. So once they get into that there and started doing it and finding the form and starting to play round the 9, around the fullback, 9, 6, 7, 1, the spine's starting to play, and then this happened. So yeah, you draw a line for them now.
Yeah, it's a shame for the Tigers because there was a massive upside to their story and the way they were going about their business, competing in the games. The 19-18 loss to the Raiders, but without those two key stars, it's going to be trouble. Part of our game, like you speak about, Jai, is Origin. When should it be played? Because keep it where it is.
Keep it where it is. Keep it where it is. The simple fact is, that's what separates the teams. That's what separates the best players we have in our game. That separates who can handle it, who can handle the backup of Origin. Every year this gets tossed up and spoken about. We're not going to see any good football for 6 weeks. So what's that saying? It's disrespecting the players that's playing.
Yeah. Well, also as a club, don't back your players up.
Yeah.
Don't back your players up. And, there's been speculation this week around the setup and the nature of New South Wales training and they camp, and whether or not they were training too much or too little, and some of the soft tissue injuries that have happened after that or in camp. Well,
so who?
Well, so for example, Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah.
Strained a calf at training. Nathan Cleary pulled up a hammy, and people, Cameron Murray as well with the groin. People go, it's what New South Wales are doing at training. But let's look at Api Koroisau. He was injured, nothing to do with that. Cody Walker, he strained a quad at training. These things happen, and it's part of our sport. But with the Cody Walker one, they've got no one to blame.
Who's pointing the finger at New South Wales and the way they're training, the way they're not, and everything in between? They have, we have things now where every player before training starts gets up, goes in, feels out how they are during the day, like their hydration, their weight, doing all this wellness stuff. So
it's just bullshit. Complete and utter
it's bullshit.
Poppycock. Well, I think it was our good friend Aaron Woods that was taking aim at some of the New South Wales training situation or training schedule, perhaps. But
Oh.
the origin for me, it has to be now. We can't move it without it. You move it to the end of the year, and then there's ramifications. Then you pause the season. There's ramifications then. Like it's a great problem to have that we've got this beast of origin. That it is going to come at a price. Of course it is, but we can't afford to move it. I think that if we are to move it, we're going to create more issues. We really are. We've got to leave it where it is. It is what it is. And also as a football club, if you go and sign someone or maybe you develop a player that's for Origin, you've got to put your squad around it. Maybe don't go and sign Origin players. Go and sign some Kiwi lads, some Samoan lads, Tonga lads. Get them over from England. Look, and then you're not affected. It's a legitimate recruitment strategy. We don't want to overload our Origin representation because it'll screw us at the mid part of the season.
Oh, look, if your club's good enough, your team's good enough, you back them. You back them to keep performing the way they are, because those players that go off the Origin, they're not only there for their individual brilliance, but the way they play at club level. So that's another thing you got to take into fact.
Yeah.
That the way they are around team environment, the way they play the game, the way they can bring a game and turn a game.
Yeah, there's a positive aspect. As well. But I'm just going to be honest with you here, Greg. If I was like negotiating a contract with you at South Sydney, I'd have knocked, when you come to me with your 1.3 a year, I'd say, because you play Origin, mate, you're only 900. Sorry.
Well, look.
And then you saying you're going to walk out the door, I'd say Greg's more interested in playing for other people, not for South Sydney. So.
Look, I think they had that. I didn't think Melbourne had that problem when they first signed me. I was a stick figure.
Yeah, imagine that, like in negotiations. Oh, look, Greg, the issue is
I reckon
you're an Origin player, mate. So I'm not sure.
Looking back, I would have just signed just on 3, just over 3.
Just over 3, yeah. And you got your Origin top ups because
that was massive money back then for me. Look, kid, like I signed my first contract scholarship for $500. That wasn't even no dollar scene. It was just hand-me-downs from the club.
But you know what?
Good old feeler. I love it.
How good is that?
I still got the jacket at home.
Yeah.
Helping me grandparents out.
Hey, just going back a little bit, and it ties into the personal battles. We saw Bateman and Tino and Origin as well. Can you talk us through some of your personal battles that you had out there over in the centres, that lonely spot? It's hard to believe you actually do anything, but you know
Jimmy,
for the 1 or 2 minutes you're involved in the game, it was pretty devastating. Can you just talk us through what it's like?
Look, I did look after my little halfback as well, so when they go in there and do their little things and run back out to the wing, it's more than just sitting out there looking at the sky. But I never had really issues with looking forward to, a one-on-one battle or really personal battle with somebody. I really look forward to the competition. I really looking forward to the battle of it.
Was there ever an individual you come up against that got over you one week and or in a game and you were like, I owe that person one in weeks to come?
Yeah, well. But speaking of Origin, it was Gasnier. Gasnier really took me to town and really showed me, one thing is like don't get too far into yourself, and another thing is like this is Origin, so there's more things to get away with in this. And he really schooled me, took me to town, took me back into the schoolyard and wrote things down on the board and say, hey, this is what we got to do, but. Kept that in the back of my mind and changed it around in game 3. So game 2, I think it was. But I'm really looking forward to the battles. Gasnier, Cooper, Willie Tonga, and Justin Hodges. So coming up there and being around them was really Jamie Lyon as well. So it was really good battle. I've never seen it. I'm not holding against them. It was like, all right, I'm in for a good game today. I want to see where I'm at against the best players in the world. And, that's the way I saw it. But, the Gasnier one really stuck out to me because I was like, oh, shit, this, right.
He's done me here.
He's done me here, and Melbourne was giving it to me in camp too, in game 2. So
That's good.
that round me up. I never took it to heart. I never think. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Just going about my business thing, and then it was like, but consciously, I had it in the back of my mind. It's like I'm thinking about how am I going to perform.
Can I ask you, Greg? Was that more attitude, or was it more I need to get tape on how he's took advantage of positions I'm in, or how I can negate his shimmy or his right foot where I put myself, or it's just attitude, or is it a combination?
It was a combination of both. It was, I wouldn't say it was my lack of preparation or my lack of respect to him, or lack of homework. It was more the fact that maybe because Queensland were going so well at the time, and maybe I was going through it and got there to the point of the game. It's like, oh yeah, it's going to be not an easy night, but it won't be as hard as previous. Maybe that was the attitude towards it, and that soon got turned around after that full-time hooter went, and I just walked back inside, tail between my legs, and but going back to Clubland, backed up, played the following week, got picked, went back into camp, and when I was in camp, I was like,
flick the switch.
I know what I'm doing. So it was a combination of both. Did homework, change my attitude all around it, and I just one-on-one battles is always what I look forward to. It's not like I said, I just named the 4 really quality centres that's played our game, and that's what I look forward to. I never had personal ones. I was just more of a...
I think that's great insight, though, that especially to anyone that's listening, that's aspiring, any youngsters that are aspiring, it's about attitude. Like, you were one of the most gifted athletes that our game's seen, but when you got your attitude right versus when you got your attitude not right, like the level of performance, and hey, we all fall into that trap a little bit where we're not as fully on all the time, but just knowing that it was just like, if I apply myself.
Yeah, and this is where the 1%ers come in. It's not what you do on the field, it's how you prepare leading into that. So, Gaz, I think he walked away with man of the match that night. So he really took me to town. So saying that there, just say we're talking about percentages, and, he did all those little 1%, which led him to the 100% by the end of the week. And that, I reckon he was playing at 100%. And I reckon I was playing about 95. So even those little bit of 5% off.
Wow.
And he took me to school. I mean, it was a real towel up, but it's obviously left a print on me.
But that's what champion players like yourself are made of, though. Like, they don't let defeat rule them out forever. Yeah. Like, you're only a week away from a great game, and you show that it's fixable, and that's really cool insight, that, mate.
I wasn't thinking about, am I going to be dropped? Am I going to... I wasn't thinking about it. All I was thinking about when I walked off that field, it was like, all right, I'm going to go back to Clubland. I'm going to do, play football back there. But if I do get back in there, or if not, next time I play Mark Gasnier, I'll have this game back in the back of my mind.
It's funny how it's stuck with you after all these years.
I'm telling you,
you sound fired. You're like, I reckon I'm going to walk out of here and get just palmed off in the face. I'm sorry, Greg, I'm not Mark Gasnier. You've not gone in a time machine. Relax. I can see you going. It's great.
And he was my Aussie roommate as well. So it's somebody that I respected, it's.
I love it.
Hojo as well. Hojo done the same thing to me, and then after a while, it's kind of after Origin, it was Broncos and Storm always backed up. It's like, who's better? And then we came to a gentleman's agreement sometimes and say, you run that way and I'll run this way, because both our bodies are sore.
Fair enough.